Speaking with who you with, Kirk, though.
Welcome to the show. Let's get this party started.
Yeah, I'm out.
Hopefully, y'all had a great day
I'm
today.
out. I'm out.
It wouldn't
Welcome
be
to speak. I'm
allegedly
out.
because he
Welcome to
was
speak. I'm
charged.
out. Welcome to speak. I'm out. Welcome to speak. I'm out.
Boy, those
Welcome to
must be
speak. I'm
some
out.
good wings.
I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Who you with, Kirk, dog?
Welcome to Speak on It with Who You With, Kurt Dog. I'm M. Who You With, Kurt Dog. You know what tonight is. Tonight is Thursday night. My girl is back in the house again. She's in the house with her boy, Miss Risky. How you doing?
Sleepy as ever.
How was your week?
I mean, we've done a whole year in less than 2 months.
That's what it
We
seemed
just
like.
barely got into March.
Well, I'm doing double duty right now. I want to welcome everybody on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch. D Live is in the house. D Live, Twitter is in the house. Um, Miss Risky finna come with some history. While she doing that, I'm gonna step out, do a couple of things. I'll be right back.
Sounds familiar. He's going for milk and he's never coming back.
I'll see you in a minute.
All right. So we're going to start off Women's Month with a history lesson on Bridget Biddy Mason. She basically helped shape the city of Los Angeles, in particular, particularly the downtown area. So Biddy, which she was known as, was born enslaved August 15th, 1880. I'm sorry, 1818. Even being enslaved, she developed a variety of skills, including medicine, childcare, and livestock. She was born either in Mississippi or Georgia. They're not quite sure where she was born, but they know she was taken at a young age from her parents to another plantation owner. During her teenage years, she learned domestic and agricultural skills. She developed skills in herbal medicines as a midwife, taught by other female slaves, which used the tradition of African, Caribbean, and Native American. In 1840, she was gifted to Robert Mays Smith and his wife Rebecca Dorn Smith in Mississippi. Biddy was very valuable because of her knowledge and experience. Robert Smith was a Mormon convert, and he decided to follow the call of the church and move his family and enslaved persons or people to the West. There, he established the Mormon community in what would become Salt Lake City, Utah. At this time, Utah was still pretty much a part of Mexico. In 1848, Mason, then 30, walked 1,700 miles behind this 300 wagon caravan. Along the route, she was responsible for setting up and breaking up camp, cooking meals, herding cattle, serving as a midwife. She also took care of her three young daughters, who at the time were 10, 4, and a newborn. In 1851, Smith moved his family again. This time it was a 150 wagon caravan headed for San Bernardino, California. He ignored Brigham Young's warnings that slavery was illegal in California, but he still, went on his way. But he eventually met up with Charles H. and Elizabeth Blake Rowan, a free black couple. The Rowans another urged Mason to contest her slave status once she reached California, because I guess there, like they said, slavery was illegal. So she was giving Mason a heads up, like, hey, once you there, get out. So Smith feared that he would lose his enslaved people and decided to move to Texas, a slave state, obviously. They were prevented from leaving because one of the Owens son, which I guess was another family, was involved with Mason's 17-year-old daughter. Scandalous. So Owen then told um, LA County sheriffs that slaves were being held against their illegally, and Smith's wagon train was apprehended in Cajun Pass, California. After 5 years of being enslaved in California, Mason eventually challenged for her freedom. On January 21st, 1856, a judge, LA District Judge Benjamin Hayes, approved her petition, but along with that ruling, he not only freed Mason, but 13 members of her extended family. She then moved to LA with her family, where her daughter married the son of Robert and Minnie Owens. She saved her money as a midwife, nurse, and used it to purchase land in what is now the heart of downtown LA, where she organized the first AME church, the oldest African American um, church in the city. Uh, she purchased, I want to say, 10 acres at $250. She built rental homes, commercial office buildings that people could rent. She used her wealth of $3 million. Yeah, you heard me. $3 million. That's what she made doing this, to become a philanthropist to the entire LA community. She donated numerous charities, fed and sheltered the poor, and visited prisoners. She was instrumental in funding a traveler's aid center and elementary school for Black children. Bridget Biddy Mason died on January 15th, 1891. She was buried in an unmarked grave in Evergreen Cemetery. On March 27th, 1988, the mayor of LA and members of the church she founded held a ceremony during which her grave was marked with a tombstone. Mason is also associated with historic resources associated with African Americans in LA, and multi-property submissions, and listed on the National Register of Historic Places on March 17th, 2009. So she's like the true tale of like from rags to riches. Like during that time, like the 1800s, she had $3 million. I don't know what that equates to, like during that time, but like six figures was like millions, equal to millions of dollars. So her family was pretty much set, and she did so much.
Man. And not only that, she's the founder of the first AME church in Los Angeles, which is still active today. So that's a historic church. I've heard Pastor Hayne talk about it in the past, but man, that's some good history. Risky. You always bring some facts. And I'm like, man, that's why I can't wait until Thursday nights. You bring them.
Yeah,
But
this one she had a lot of information, and I condensed a lot of it because most of it was based on where her owner took her, and she learned a lot, through the Mormon Church, which gave her the inspiration to start her church.
yeah. Now, you said she traveled by foot behind a trailer for over
Like
a
a
thousand
caravan, I
miles.
guess like chuck wagons, like they had all their gear, and she
Mm,
was walking behind with her people because I guess they didn't put her in the caravan with the family. Yeah, so it's like 300. people. I'm assuming like that included slaves, family, whatever. Like he just uprooted his family and just everything to go west. And she made the trek on foot.
Mm. Man, that's the
Like my visual is like a chuck wagon where like they have the furniture in like this tinted little wagon, and then the family's just on the horses steering the wagons.
Did it say how long it took them to get there?
It did not, but they had some detours because remember, that's when they bumped into a couple like after they entered California, and they were like, "Hey, you shouldn't be here because it is illegal to own people."
Mm.
And he was gonna make it, try to leave, but he was accosted and apprehended by the police or the sheriff.
Yeah,
So, but yeah, it didn't say how long the journey took.
okay. I see that in 1866 she paid $250 for 2 lots.
Hmm.
Man, that was the first property she ever owned.
Yeah, and she just built on it and created all these rental properties, commercial and, I guess non-commercial.
Man, that's some good history. I
Like
shall.
she was very savvy when it came to business, and just being born into slavery, that she had that kind of insight, which like now I understand why, like she was valued. Like they weren't trying to let her go.
And very smart.
Yeah, it's like she was like a little sponge. She absorbed everything she probably heard, and I don't know what her literacy was, because I know most places they didn't allow slaves to read or write, but it seems like she was somewhat educated enough to get her and her family out of the situation. Because, like I said, she eventually petitioned for her freedom, and along with that came, she freed her family as well.
Mm.
So I don't know if she like actually wrote a petition or she just went before a judge and somebody helped her. It didn't say, but yeah.
Man, that's some good news right there. I definitely appreciate you for always bringing the history lesson on Thursdays, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it. You always bringing some good facts and being able to share with us. Want to welcome T Cal to the show. Say hi, Kurt. Hey, Kurt Dog. Hi, Miss Risky. Welcome to the show. You can live chat with us during the show. You are listening to Speak On It with Who You With, Kurt Dog. I'm M. Who You With, Kurt Dog, with Miss Risky, who joined us on Thursday, my co-host. I see Radio Chaos have came into the house. What's going on, Radio? Um, so that's really some great history that you have brought us tonight. And I'm gonna just call that like it is, Black Girl Magic. Back in the
Like the
1800s.
epitome of black girl magic. She made everything work. She was like, I'm finna scrimp and save, get my hustle. Like she had her hands in all the pots.
I almost want to say that could be the first uh, black-owned realtor or being
I
able to.
mean, listen, she owned a bunch of stuff in LA, and she made downtown LA what it is now with all her commercial buildings and residential areas.
Man, that's
She's
some good
like, I'm
stuff.
gonna settle here and create.
So that was some good history, but here it is in 2021. We're still having to deal with some of the same issues. So we're gonna go on out east on the other side. Um, a Mississippi middle school asked 8th graders to pretend they were slaves and write a letter home to Africa.
I mean, didn't we already go through this like a few years back?
I
Like,
think
I
it was
think
just
the
a few
story was
months
they were
ago.
pretending to be slaves and how much they like seeing how much they cost or something like that. Like,
Well,
it was something like that.
I
But
think I think we talked about something like this at the end of last year, where school end up doing some type of homework assignment
yeah,
or
and it's
something like
always a
this.
homework assignment that gets out. And
Exactly. And then
that's what happened here.
while we talking about it, we even had uh ooh, I had to catch myself. Greg Abbott, the person that's pretending to be our governor, because he's not really all that good. He just have a title. He's not doing what he should do. But that's my personal opinion. But he had a problem with teaching the true history of America in school. But then we have schools in Mississippi want kids to pretend like they are slaves.
And then the problem with that, which is what a lot of people online, once it was posted, had, it was at Purvis Middle School in Mississippi. Um, they don't have context, like because I don't know what their history is like and their topics of slavery, because last time I heard they downplayed slavery to uh, servitude, like unpaid service or something to take away from the just the inhumane way that they treated people. So their assignment pretty much was pretend like you're a slave working on a Mississippi plantation, and write a letter to your family back in Africa or in another American state describing your life. So that there, like before I even finished the story on the Insider, my mind went to if they were slaves, how would they write anything? Because that was forbidden. That was illegal for black slaves to read or write. So you're putting like, and then they're not teaching this in school, so they don't have a point of reference. They only know what maybe they've seen on television, or maybe like the paragraph that's probably in their history books, because nobody's teaching real history. So the sample goes on. You may discuss the journey to America as well as the day-to-day tasks you perform. The assignment continued. You may also want to tell your family you live with or work for, and how you pass your time when you aren't working. So again, another problem. When did a slave have time off?
Exactly.
Like seriously, it was like 24/7. From birth to adulthood. And so once the assignment was posted online, people, of course, critics, they were in an uproar. Um, they brought up the point that the slaves wouldn't have had the ability to write or send letters, so that nixed that idea. And then one tweet said, "Talk about trivializing slavery. Family you work for? You mean the master who forced you to work? The family using threats of violence to keep you in line? So on your day off, never happened. Were you whipped, raped, beaten? This isn't a letter from summer camp, people." And another Twitter user took issue with referring to slave masters as the family you live with or work for. It diminishes what slavery actually was and compares it pretty much like I was saying to housekeeping, just unpaid servitude, or just, and it just makes no sense. And Frank Bunnell, the principal of Purvis Middle School, has since apologized to parents for something like this happening under my watch, end quote. uh, and he also is quoted to saying a person could read the assignment and draw a very unrealistic view of true tragedies that occurred that was not intended, end quote. So yeah, and then one of the Black Lives Matter Mississippi, uh, uh, Jeremy Markel Bridget said, pretty much they're living in Klan territory. So this is a hot button topic right here, and the school is made up of pretty much 12% Black and 80% white students. So this assignment, it was just like wrong on so many levels.
Exactly, and where it's located is actually close to Louisiana and the southern sector of Mississippi. So that's definitely going to be deep South Mississippi. Radio Chaos asks, have you ever been to Mississippi? Yes, as a truck driver, I used to go through Mississippi quite a bit. Um, and that from time to time, I even had to spend nights in Mississippi. Once that clock run out, I didn't have a choice. I had to shut it down. But it wasn't my choice to stay in Mississippi nor Alabama.
Yeah, I've never been in those areas, but I met somebody who was like deep Mississippi, Petal, Mississippi. Don't know where that is. Very country. And apparently there were no black people there because when he met me, because this was basic training back in the day, I was like the first black female he had ever met, allegedly.
Now, now is that the guy that's still stalking you today?
No,
No.
do I have a stalker? It's like, who is he? How do you know about him? Are you it? No, but to go on with the story, there's apparently a teacher in Wisconsin middle school who was put on administrative leave in the last month after giving a student assignment asking sixth graders how they would punish a slave. And then a teacher in Missouri was placed on leave, and this one was in 2019, asking fifth graders to set a price for a slave in a worksheet on the colonial trade. So this has been going on a while, and you would think that when they're working on their curriculum that they would nix that idea or come up with another way of teaching slavery, like, you know, just research the life or find some people who were slave and find their stories so you can learn what they went through, instead of saying, if you were, to a bunch of kids who live on Instagram, like they know nothing of slavery and being without in a lot of cases. So, and yeah, it's just wrong on so many levels.
Well, I personally feel like history should be taught in school, the real
Well,
history
yeah,
of America. They need
exactly.
to know about the slavery. Instead of doing these type of assignment, let's put it in the history book for kids can read it and see
Right. Put it
exactly
on the
the history
curriculum
of America.
because we
And
learned all about the potato famine in Ireland.
exactly.
We learned everything but our own because I think the fear is once we learn our true history, I think people think there's going to be an uprising. And my thought is if there hasn't been an uprising at this point, chances are it ain't going to happen. Like we just trying to live and have our, equal rights. That's all we want. Be treated fairly and not be treated as a criminal just based on the color of our skin. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't tell part of the story. Let it all be known.
Right. Like
That's
just because you have guilt of your ancestors, like listen, and the fact that some of these people are still, trying to keep those traditions going, like that's on you. But
Trump.
tell the truth, like own it.
Yeah. See that's some good good story that you sent me about about that school, which is I always feel like the real history of America needs to be taught in school. That's why here in Texas, next year we are voting on the Board of Education here in Texas. That's why it's so important that we get out and vote for our local election, for we can make sure we have the people in there that's gonna actually teach this. Apparently, these teachers, I don't know if they want to make it known, but this last one talking about pretend like you're a slave and writing a letter home to Africa. I'm sure it's probably some old. I'm not gonna say that. I'm sure it's probably somebody who don't look like me,
Right. Like I said, 80% of the students are Caucasian.
and they
So
probably
that's
felt
where,
like it was all fun and game.
right. So I could just imagine what they would have written, like, oh, I have no internet service. Like like they have nothing to pull from. And then white student they don't care about other people's histories because it hasn't been instilled in them that these people you're around, hey, they have a history as well. Like we didn't learn everybody else, all the colonizers, all their regions. Well, I don't know. I think they changed Christopher Columbus, and he's famous for going the wrong direction. Like for real, he was looking for India, and then he ended up in the Americas, and
And
he's like,
then he
these
told
must be Indians.
then he
Like
told
he
him
literally went the wrong way,
in. Yeah, that's not good at all.
and they gave him his own holiday.
Exactly. That's America for you. Oh man. Earlier I was on the phone with somebody, and then all of a sudden I started getting all these alerts, people texting me, trying to call me. Have you heard about this? I'm like, no, but let me check up on it. This Dallas police officer arrested, charged in two unrelated 2017 murder that was still on active duty, was arrested this morning for hiring a hitman to kill two people. One was a female, and she was shot multiple times and dumped in Trinity River. Another one is a male. They still looking for his body.
Yeah, they never recovered. But the man, Bryan Riser, is a 13-year veteran
Hmm.
and working for the Dallas Police Department. He was in I'm gonna say the South Central
I think it was the
Department.
South Central.
So let's see. So he was transported to Dallas County Jail for processing. He was with South Central Patrol Unit. And then get this. So although he's in custody, he's on paid administrative leave, pending the outcome of this internal affairs investigation. Chief Garcia said that the charges against Riser stem from two unrelated murder victims in 2017. Um, and what was the other quote and he says, no one hates a bad cop more than a good cop. And he has
Yeah,
no business wearing this uniform. Like, because there's some shady stuff going on. Like, and from what I'm hearing is that he, he yeah, it's just a lot of stuff going on. I have lots of questions. Like, Chief Garcia, call me. I have questions. because there's more to this story, because I can't wrap my head around how the investigation started, and the fact that this cop is like putting his muscle. It seems like he's putting his muscle into a lot of things to try to cover these things up, but one of the witnesses ratted him out. That's how we found out about it.
Well,
Actually ratted him out.
from what I've gathered from everything and listening to different videos, apparently, former Chief Renee Hall was made aware of this back in 2019, but she was told by detectives and the FBI, do
There
not
wasn't
put him
enough
on
evidence.
administration leave because they did not want to mess up this case.
Right. But they
So
also
that,
didn't have enough evidence to arrest him at that time.
yeah. So now the person that it actually three people have been charged um, with Sazi murder. I believe her name is Lisa Sanez or something. Saenz. 28-year-old Kevin Kidd, 31-year-old Emmanuel Kilpatrick, and 35-year-old German Simon. So they saying so far none of the men have been to trial for her murder. Court records show Kidd has two murder charges pending, while Kilpatrick and Simon have three murder charges still pending. Kilpatrick, Kilpatrick is currently serving a life sentence for the murder of Herbie Walton Jr. and Sr. So the thing is, these were some natural born killers.
Yeah, they were sick, and according to my sources, there's some more like people they weren't feeling him a lot. Like they felt that he was a little off. So his peers were like kind of sketched out around him, and he also has children who he had custody of. So I'm curious to know how he ended up with custody, especially after like 4 years ago, he was charged with a misdemeanor charge of assault family violence causing bodily injury. So this man still had custody of his children. And I want to say there's three children. Um, so like, did he like put the fear of God in the baby mama and said, "Hey, I'm taking these kids, and you know, I dare you to come take them away from me." Like, I have a lot of questions because this man should not have been a cop to begin with, from what I'm hearing. But I guess they needed people, and they got a little lax. But like I said, sources close to me, they're like, "Man ain't right," and everybody was a little sketched out with him. Like he wasn't just all there mentally. Like nobody could really understand him when he spoke. Um, yeah, he would just sketch people out. So this is who was patrolling our streets, and who knows what he did with the children. And I have a feeling there are probably more bodies out there that we don't know about.
Exactly.
And as soon as he gets his consecutive life sentences, I'm sure he's gonna just tell all, because at that point he has nothing to lose. But that's just me, because I watch a lot of ID channels, and I love those testimonials from criminals behind bars. Like, yeah, they got me on these two murders, but they didn't catch me on the other 30. It's like, what?
Well,
So
and I was looking at. I'm sorry, Radio had made a comment that police unions should take care of their members no matter what they do. I don't think
I
I'm
don't
not
think
gonna say
they
that
were
on this one.
involved.
They probably wasn't involved with this, but I'm sure they're not gonna stand behind him like they would a Amber Geiger or anything like that for the simple fact he's the wrong color.
Well, and that, and I feel that there's more bodies to be found
I feel like it is too.
because, like, the fact that they don't like the male that they got rid of, and they have no idea where he is, what happened to him. Like
Hey,
they know not, they just know he was missing.
family reported him missing, and he still haven't been found. Um, to both of the families, prayers going to you because it have to be difficult not knowing where your loved one is after all this time, and to lose a loved one. Now, for Lisa family, they could probably say they have closure, are starting to get closure for the simple fact um, for years they didn't know who killed or who ordered the killing of her for whatever reason. Now, I did read one report that said allegedly he had a relationship with one of them. They believe it was with Lisa. I don't know. Maybe that's the ex-girlfriend. Maybe this
I don't
other
think
guy
there
was
was I don't think they were a couple that I'm trying to recall some conversations, but
alleged
there's
conversation.
some yeah, there's some stuff uh, that involves him and a family member, and yeah.
Cause matter
So
of fact, when the family violence happened, he got into it with a family member and did some bodily injuries to them.
mhm, yeah.
So that tells
Yeah,
you
and
right
that's why I
there.
said what like how did he get the kids? Like he probably muscled somebody and put like we need to talk to his baby mama and see if she all right. Like,
Either
you
way,
okay, girl? Why didn't you get them kids? Like she was the sanest one in the family.
well, because like I told people before when we did the show on malicious parent syndrome. The reason why I say malicious parent syndrome because it's not just females, it's guys that do it too. And this probably be one of these situations. I don't know the man. I don't know the mother. I don't know the kids. But from what I'm hearing about it, this could be one of those situations. He's a policeman. And sometime when you're dealing with the courts, oh, he's a policeman. He's a law-abiding citizen. He's going to do everything right. That's the best place for the parent. BS. Because just because he have a badge doesn't mean he's the best thing since sliced bread. Or
And
she
after that, after he was arrested on a domestic, they should have revisited that.
exactly.
Like he still had the kids. I mean, I have
So
tons of questions. There's some things I don't know if that's out yet in the world that I was, advised of, but so I'm just gonna not share that tidbit. But there's more to the story. There's a lot
uh,
more.
my whole thing is basically the guy did it allegedly. I'm gonna say allegedly because we don't know for sure. It could be somebody who actually who he arrested before and lying on him. I know it probably not, but I gotta give him the benefit of the doubt. But if he did,
We'll talk later off this.
yeah. But if he did order the hits, he need to be held accountable. I say it all the time. You do the crime, you do the time. And I'm just like, hey, it's a sad situation. 2 counts. He charged with 2 counts of it.
But I'm sure there's going to be more.
Yeah. If he did that,
Like
I'm
I'm keeping
like,
my eye on this one because I need more details, and it is pretty tricky. Well, it's not tricky, but yeah. Let's just say his hands are all in it. Like there's
we're just gonna leave it at that because
yeah.
uh, We don't know for sure, but from what they are reporting, it's not looking good for him. He was arrested. Uh, I want to say 2 counts of capital murder, and he ordered the hit. Matter of fact, one of the news station mentioned they're going to talk about how much he paid the guys to do it.
Probably not much.
Probably not.
I'm like, yo,
Probably
man, I got $500 to kill somebody.
no. Probably. Well, looking at the guys, I hate to say it, but I think 50 each probably was probably good enough for them.
You
Um,
just got off the pen here. Here's
so
$50 and a case of package of Marlboros.
Marlboros are
I don't know, Pall Malls or whatever they smoke.
not the Pall Mall without the filter on it.
Listen, I don't know how they come. I don't know. I just remember I told somebody they shared a picture of themselves in jail, and from the neck down, they were looking pretty good. And I was like, "Listen, I'll send you a carton of Marlboros," and he was like, "No, I like Pall Malls."
Wait a minute, you going in prison pen pal? That's why you should did the Daily Show. You
No,
don't
he
get a
no, he's
prison pen
out,
pal.
but he shared a picture of himself when he was in jail. And then
Oh.
I had a lot of questions like, "Where'd you get the camera? How'd you upload the photo?" Like y'all just taking photo shoots in jail.
Well, first of all, I know he. I hope he didn't tell you
He's
because
reformed. Well, he is a homosexual.
was he one before he went?
hmm Yeah, that's how
Oh,
I
okay.
met him through another gay friend.
Oh, so he went for a party. Mm,
So, and he was just, I looked at his page because I think he friended me because me and the other person, he's a drag queen, were friends
you
online from Paul's Drag Race. We were buddies.
know,
And he had like, I don't know, I think it was Scrabble that brought us together. And so I was like, let me friend him. And then I went through his photos like you do, you stalk people. And it was like a nice juicy photo. And I was like, I mean, he ugly, but from the neck down, yeah, I
hey,
sent him a carton of cigarettes. Maybe two. Stay safe, bruh. I'm just saying. You gotta
okay,
give to the community. That's my charitable contribution.
okay. Well, more power to him. Um, I just okay. I'm speechless. But either way, I hope these family get justice, and hopefully they find Albert Douglas. Um, he was the other victim that was reported missing in February 2017. So hopefully he get justice. His family get justice for him and get closure. Because now they wondering where is their loved one? Where is he located? Now they know who possibly be involved with him being missing, but where is he? So, but he was charged with 2 counts of capital murder.
The radio's asking if they will give him bail.
Uh,
I,
last I
I doubt it. Uh, I
last
think
I heard, no bail been set. So I doubt if he will. This would not be uh, like the cops that killed George Floyd. This would not be a Cal Rittenhouse. Um, he won't get no $2 million bail. We'll just say that. So, and then also, I back in the days I used to live in Grand Prairie, so and kind of find out I think he was in my old neighborhood. I was looking at the video and they were showing the house where he was arrested, and I was like, "Whoa, that looked like my old stomping ground." But I'm like, okay, um, kind of interesting. You're gonna have to watch this story because I feel like more bodies is gonna come out of this story.
Yeah, I don't think this is first day at the rodeo.
Because I feel like it's probably, I don't think neither one of them was his first one. Probably what's going to happen, he probably caught them doing some of the stuff you would see in a movie. A cop find a bad person.
No, I think
That
it's too many people knew. Like in his circle, a part of the crew, and one of them flipped. Like
well,
I
there's
don't
three
believe
of
the
them.
stitches get stitches. Like, well, you could try to give me stitches while you behind bars. Like I wish you would, but I
Yeah,
think it's just somebody got nervous because he probably
yeah.
was doing the most. But that's my opinion. I
Did you
think. Hmm?
did you see their pictures?
No, I
Um,
saw his. Like he has crazy eyes.
hold on.
I didn't see the other dudes.
I'm gonna make it easy for you. Um, because this is I feel like I'm in a ghetto boys video. My mind playing tricks on me. Let me set it up like this. I'm about to send it to you.
All right.
If y'all don't know, we are live, so sometimes things happen. We gotta share a couple of things. So yeah, but to answer your question, radio, I don't think he'll get bail. I did it on Messenger. Uh, I don't see him getting bail. Not at all. You get it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's
Uh,
the. Oh wait, there's more to it. Yeah, they all look crazy. And the one on the right looks like that's the one that flipped. I'm just saying. He got that look. They gave him a soda and some the Doritos. And he's like, "Yo, man. All right. So this is what happened. Because the first one flip gets the better deal. I'm just saying."
right.
But he looked like he didn't told all, and I'd be like, "Listen, I know I'm gonna have time, and I will tell all, but you gotta put me in Arizona jail. I will wear a pink jumpsuit just to get away from this crazy man, because
And stay in a tent.
yeah, like I cannot."
Well, because all of them have bodies on them, neither one of them gonna get out. So at this point, you got to make peace and tell what you can, bring family closure,
Yeah,
because all of them have bodies on them. So the chances of them getting out is very slim, unfortunately. Um, but that's cool. Since we talking about Dallas police, I radio hit on this last night, and I was like, I seen the alert, but I did not take a look at it. Um, do you feel like, or do you, how do you feel about Amber Geiger having an appeal to lower her charges? Do you feel like it's right?
listen, she got 10 years for murdering somebody in his own home. That I would consider that light.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like she literally used her weapon and went into somebody's home and shot him, and then tried to cover it up. No, do your 10 and be done with it. And I'm sure it's what she has to do a minimum of 5 or something like that. So what's the point of appealing for a lower, sentence? No.
Well, it all depends. I don't know if the lower charge would actually um, actually allow her to be a police officer.
Here's the
Uh,
dang.
um, So that all depends. Um,
But yeah, she's there. She's set to appear on the 27th of April.
and see how long it took her to get fired. Nearly 3 weeks to get fired after the shooting. And she done killed this man. You can't even be black eating ice cream on your sofa in America today without getting killed. That's a shame.
And that
Uh,
was her first inclination to point her weapon and fire without, like somebody in your home, you think they're gonna be in their pajamas? Like, I don't care how tired you are. Like, if you feel like you're in the wrong, like, because I've gone to the wrong area and I was like, wait, you're on autopilot. But then something like wakes you and you're like, wait, where am I? And your senses kick in. Like, at no point did her senses kick in. And she's an officer and she's like, her situational awareness is supposed to be keen no matter what. But she could text and do some things,
she was
at
kind of
the same time, and send them sexting text messages, but she couldn't figure out that she wasn't on her floor and in her right apartment. She didn't smell because I think he had Chinese food and was eating ice cream, because he was smoking the cigar weeds. So
and,
he
and
had all the stuff. So, and Chinese food smell. Like, if you cleaned your house before you left and you didn't eat Chinese, like, none of these things kicked in.
I'm just saying it's
He didn't rush after her. He was like, "What's up?" And her first instinct was to shoot to kill. And
well,
then she's like, "Oh wait, this ain't even my apartment."
you know what? This made me think about something. Last month we talked about the young lady up in Raleigh, North Carolina, I believe, that she came home and found two guys in her apartment and cooked food and took a shower wearing her ex-boyfriend clothes and all those things. Now, what if she would have came in and seen them in her apartment and started shooting them? Would it been justified? I feel like it would have been.
Hmm. I mean,
But,
they're burglars.
but Amber,
They
she
stole her
didn't.
resources and made themselves comfortable. Yeah, shoot to kill because there are two men and you're a female coming home and
Exactly.
there are two men in your house. If you got a weapon, shoot to kill. I'll ask questions later. Like, they don't belong here. And the fact that the cops came by and was like, "Oh, they just wanted to use your shower and eat and cook a meal." Where do you
Yeah,
do that at?
yeah, I would have been bringing out body bags because I would have. I walk up in my apartment, see my door is so cracked. Oh, it's on and popping.
Yeah, yeah. Let
I
me go
walk.
to Highland Park and try that. Oh, I was just trying some caviar,
Let me know how that worked out.
champagne dreams.
Uh,
Listen, I'd be like, I wouldn't make it out the house.
Radio said it was ultimately her decision to let her lawyers file the appeal. So I guess she feels she has served enough time. Guess she got over what she did. Now I'm gonna tell you what the problem is. She probably had carpal tunnel from braiding Big Bertha hair and washing
She ain't
her
never done
drawers.
that kind of hair. Do you think she's with the general population, especially as an officer? Like, even with this one that's going in now for the murder cases,
Yeah,
like,
they'll hold them separate.
because that's gonna be a tricky situation.
I see they not building prisons for former police officers.
That'll be the most scandalous jail.
Everybody be in there snitching on each other,
Listen,
trying to kneel on somebody's neck.
right? Throwing a
Black
power.
police officer. He
Like,
was
I'm the
armed.
sheriff in D Block.
He was armed.
You can see that I'm the sheriff in these parts.
But hey, radio said, I don't think she will win the appeal. If they know
I
what's
mean, the
best,
way things are going, you never know.
you never know. But I wouldn't recommend it. Wait a minute, it's almost time for me to go to jury duty again. I should be getting a notice soon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I haven't gotten a notice in like since college. And I didn't even live in Dallas because I was living in Denton because I was, a student. And so that's how I got away with not going to jury duty. But then, like, I guess I moved too much for them to figure out what county I was in. But I've been in Denton County for a long time. I haven't gotten not one summons, you know. Hmm.
but every time
I
you
was a
renew,
standby once.
your license, you should update your voter registration.
I did. I mean, that's how I don't get anything. Knock on wood.
I went I was supposed to go last year at the start of COVID. And I I I don't normally fill it all out online, but last year I was excited. I'm like, okay, I'm going to jury duty. I'm all right with that.
You
Feel very
know, like, I don't think I would mind because I'm in Denton County, so I don't have to deal with like downtown Dallas traffic parking. That would give me anxiety. And I'd rather, somewhere out here because it seems less complicated.
I think with Dallas, they will give you a discount parking. I think $3 for it, which it costs.
Yeah, I wouldn't drive
I,
downtown Dallas. I
I
would
think
not.
it costs like $6 to get on to a park or something, and then they turn around.
Like they had
Uh,
all sorts of directions, and it was confusing. I
well,
ain't
it
got time.
depends on which court you go into.
Yeah, the one I got to, they were like park on this level and then go here. No, because I have no sense of direction. No, drop me off at the building.
I know a couple of years ago, I went to jury duty. I was so used to going to George Allen building, and well, I supposed to have been going to uh, George Allen, but I was so used to going to Aunt Lou Sterry down in that courthouse down there. So I get there and I pay for the parking, go upstairs, and I'm in there and I'm like, I'm checking in. And the woman said, "You at the wrong courthouse. You're supposed to be at George Allen, which is the family court building down farther into downtown." So I paid the money to park, and then I go down there and park, and couldn't find no parking inside of the garage parking, so I had to park outside. Stayed there all day, went to lunch. I end up going somewhere for lunch, come back, pay for parking again. I said, man, I done spent almost $20 in parking today. I said, no. And they only gonna give you $6 and they're gonna ask you if you want to donate it.
Yeah, no, I want all my monies.
I'm like, no, I need to offset some of
Listen,
this.
if I went through that and I was picked for jury, everybody's guilty because I'm pissed off. You done wasted all my time. I had went through a maze of parking. I would not be in a good mood.
Well, and also what they do depends on which court you go to. Now, you may actually have to go to court, sit there, then they would assign you a sub courthouse to go to, like late on in the afternoon, like 1 or 2 o'clock. And then you may get there and they may say, oh, your services are not needed.
Yeah.
Or you may get picked for an eviction. I've
Yeah, I think
done,
the one that I got, but I was just, like I said, on standby, and they gave me all these instructions. They're like, if you're chosen, bring a snack because you're going to be there probably all day for something. And I was like, what? And that's not even like me just being on, that's just me just sitting and waiting to see if they're going to pick me to potentially be a juror.
yeah,
Like, no, that ain't my life, especially
yeah.
not in Dallas County. So I'm glad I'm in Denton County. So hopefully it's less complicated if I do get chosen. And
Well,
like I said, I'm all for the ID channel. And if I can serve where there's like a capital murder case, oh, I'm on board. Denton County, hint, hint. Do I have something on my record? Y'all ain't calling me. like, like I'm shocked by that.
well, I think I almost got picked for an assault case one time until I seen I believe it may have been the victim in the hallway, and I had been there all day. And what the victim was saying, it made me nervous. And I told her, went back in. I said, "Look, I don't know if that's the victim or not in the hallway, but the way he's talking, I would have shot him."
Yeah.
And I
And they're
said,
like,
"Look."
we can't choose you. You've been tainted.
Yeah, because I had done told the judge, the lawyer, and the defense, and I told the defense if it was me, I claim self-defense because I don't know what happened with the trial, but they hurry up and got me out of there. And I
Yeah.
had I think it was about 2:30, so I had been there since 7 o'clock that morning, and I was like, okay, if I get picked, I get picked. If I don't, I don't. But once I seen that, I said, oh no, I would have shot him. But
Yeah.
I felt uncomfortable, and I know we
I
went through
noted
metal
all my clips.
detectors. Yeah, I told him, I said, I feel uncomfortable, and I know we had to go through metal detectors before we got in, and I felt very paranoid. I'm like, hey, let me go. But so I say this for last because last night we actually had some folks call in last night. Um, once we started talking about uh, well, we basically talked about Gregory Abbott's and this mask mandate, and then someone brought up something, and we discussed it a little bit. But anyway, you know how they get when you talk about Trump. And some dude called in, sound like he was drunk on the phone, and I was like, "Look," I kept saying hello, and I'm like, he said something. I don't know what he said. Matter of fact, somebody put it in the chat. Somebody, is he drunk? By that time, I had already hung up on him. But he called back, and then he started talking. And when I asked the question, "Are you a Trump supporter?" They hung up. But I appreciate him for that calling. I think his name was David Stevens or something like that. I don't know.
You
Stevens.
say a potential listener, viewer.
Now you know how we do on the show. We're gonna keep it legit. We don't deal with conspiracy.
Right.
We don't deal with false information. And I think I kind of shocked him the first time he called because when I kept saying something, he started stuttering or something. And then he came back after I hung up. He called back. He like, "Is this Kurt Doug?" "Yes, it is. You are live on the show." And he started talking about how great Trump was. No, 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 no. We ain't finna start that lie.
You
So
should
that's
ask
how.
him what makes him great.
Wait a minute.
He's he's barely a good public speaker.
Uh,
Like he
wait a
can't
minute.
even hold regular size pens to sign his name. He uses big old sharpies like a kindergartner. Like I could just see him in his office using those jumbo crayons.
Uh,
Like
Radio asked, he was like, "Was he drinking Mad Dog?" I don't know what he was drinking. He was drinking
maybe it was
something.
evil, and he thought you were gonna catch on. Wasn't that his
I,
name?
I wait a minute. Say what now?
Wasn't that evil? What was his name? The dude we banned.
Oh, Eva
Yeah,
Donkey. But you know, I actually unbanned him before we came back for the new year.
he doesn't love us anymore. How
Well,
dare?
you know, he don't want to face the truth that Trump lost. Then again, he may have been part of that January 6th domestic terrorist attack.
Maybe he was the one with the little horns and the fur.
Nah, I wouldn't give him that much credit. But so speaking of that, yesterday it came out that they had planned another attack today, but
Because
it
it
didn't
was
work.
the original presidential inauguration day until 1933. So they were expecting Trump to reclaim his position.
And that didn't work out too good. So they said the threat appears to be connected to a far-right conspiracy theory, mainly promoted by supporters of QAnon, and that Trump would rise again to power on March 4th. That's today. That
I
was
like
the
how they make
original.
it seem like he's all like godlike, like a demigod. He will rise to his position.
Well, I'm kind of curious because first of all, you're listening to Speak on it with Who You With Kurt Dog. I'm M. Who You With Kurt Dog with Miss Risky, my co-host on Thursdays. You can live chat with us in the chat room, regardless of what platform you own. And I apologize because I need to pull up my Facebook for the simple fact on Facebook it don't always allow the chats come in from my personal page. Um, so if you're on Facebook, I'm trying to get on there just to make sure if anybody left any messages, uh, you can actually live chat with us on the chat room, and you can call in if you have comments. Call in if it'll be easy because I know a lot of people say, "Hey, that's a lot to do to try to call in to try to be able to type it all in so you can actually call in 972-591-3665 972-591-3665. Want to know your opinion. If you're a part of one of these conspiracy theory groups, and how do you feel now that March 4th is here? And you've been told all this time that Trump was going to be back in office on March 4th. Yeah, I understand. Let me explain. In some places, it's about less than 2 hours before the new day. Yeah, and here in Texas, it's almost 3 hours before the new day.
I mean, but was there a time on it? Like, was it like at 7 o'clock he's going
Now,
to rise up and reclaim the throne?
what reason why I'm saying is 2 hours on the East Coast, 3 hours on Central, 4 hours, well, 5 hours on almost 5 hours on the West Coast. Reason why I'm saying that, just in case
We wake up
somebody
to the new regime
exactly, yeah, in case we go to bed and
and then wake up to
before
all these alerts.
before midnight, talking about we have a new president sworn in. Uh, I want to know how y'all feel about it.
And then he's gonna
It
put that gold Trump statue in the lobby. Didn't they
no,
learn a lesson from was it Exodus? Moses and
hey, Woody Jane, how
went
you
up to
doing tonight?
the mountaintop to get the Ten Commandments, and they were all having a party with a golden cow.
Exactly.
See how that
So,
happened? I'm just saying.
yeah, good evening to you, Woody Jean Wright. Is in the house listening on Facebook. She's actually on the Speak On It with Who You With Kurt though. You can live chat with us. We are live. So uh Radio said a woman said if it didn't happen today, then that means Trump has another plan. So yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. I'm glad to know you're doing well. Uh, we'll we'll talk because I know you. Thank you for the support you've given us. So I appreciate it. Longtime friend of the family. So I definitely appreciate it. Um, yeah. So I'm just kind of curious about the folks that is diehard Trump supporters. I want to know what happened next. Radio says some woman said Trump has another plan. I hope he getting hit. Well, he can't have that die in prison. So I'm hoping New York go ahead and press those charges and uh, get ready to set him up to go see Big Bubba because he need to go hang out with him,
I
learn how
think
to
his heart
parent
would get out before then from all the cocaine
all
or
the diet,
whatever, allegedly,
allegedly cocaine and alleged
or
well,
Adderall. I don't know. He probably snorts Adderall, allegedly. But in my mind,
yeah.
that's what he does.
Wait a minute, let me look at according to the way the statue look. I'm gonna say you probably right, allegedly right, because those eyes are real beady and
And
that
his
bobber head.
attractiveness in real life is kind of questionable with his little hands and feet. He's got the smallest little feet. I bet we were the same size.
But I never paid attention to his feet
No,
until
I
you
think I
said,
showed to you that video where he was dancing, and I was like, his little feet. Like, how is that supporting his big old body? And then he got little hands.
"Hey, they have him good on this statue. Small hands, small feet, big head." Um, Radio said Trump has never had a plan that would require thinking. Ooh.
Of course not.
Um, uh, Weedy Jean said, "Ain't nobody scared. Didn't they stand us up on January 20th? Come on, Cletus. Come on, Cletus. Come on." That's what I'm talking about. At some point, people got to realize a lot of things Trump have said over the years, over the last several months, is all BS. There's no other way of putting it. If you want to fall behind this man and think everything he's saying is the truth, you have some issues. You need some serious help. Just like the young lady on TikTok said she was part of QAnon and believed everything Trump told them until January 20th. Told her mother we was all gonna die because China was gonna take over. How that work out? But now she's a TikTok superstar. I wonder if she went to the Capitol on January 6th. She said she was a diehard Trump fan. I want to know. That's what I would ask her. Hey, did you make it to the Capitol? But
Trying to
um,
pull Trump's full body.
oh, Trump full body.
Yeah, because I got one, but I don't know if you'll be able to see it. But his feet look
Uh,
really small.
they look like those shoes, or
Like
look
he got
like
the point, but like when he was dancing, they look like little ballerina feet.
look like his shoes only fit halfway in. So Trump is I don't know about him. I don't know at
Looks like he
all.
has a platform on this one, like a little hill.
But still, once again, look like his feet is only going halfway in. Um, look like it's only going halfway. But
Like this one looks like he's probably a size 8 in men.
so I just got this alert trying to see when this came out. Uh, hold on. Because this just, well, it happened earlier today, but I just got the alert. So
Which one?
the man pictured with his feet on Pelosi desk,
Mm-hmm.
yell at the judge, it's not fair. It's not fair. Okay. Said the Arkansas man who was pictured with his feet on House Speaker Nancy Pelosi desk during the January 6th insurrection had an outburst in court Thursday, yelling at the judge and his own lawyers that it isn't fair. He is still in jail. KNWA reports. Background: Richard Barnett, 60, has been asking to be freed on bond since he was arrested days after the attack at the Capitol, per the New York Times. Barnett lost his patience after D.C. District Court Judge Christopher Cooper continued his trial until May 4th. I've been here a long time. Another month is not fair, but normally he says it's his rights. But it's not fair, Barnett said, per KNWA. You're letting everyone else out. I need help. He has pleaded not guilty to charges of aiding and abetting disorderly conduct in a Capitol building, demonstrating in a Capitol building, and theft of government property. But it's not fair.
But it's
Way I,
not.
way I see it is, it wasn't fair to American people to have to witness other American attack our capital. But you say it's not fair. What is fair, he's keeping you where you're supposed to be because you are a domestic terrorist. Yes, you should remain in jail, just like all the rest of you that took part in it should remain in jail. For the judges that let them out, they need to be held accountable too. We need to vote them out of those positions. For the simple fact, even the judge that allowed Judy Crean, or whatever her name is, to go to Cancun a couple of weeks ago, the same time Ted Cruz was supposed to be there, he need to be held accountable. Because how would you allow a terrorist leave the country? Why would you do that? That's saying a lot about you. That's saying a lot about your mind thought, about the fact that you're not upholding justice. If there was anyone else besides little Becky, they would have remained in jail. Each one of those jails that have granted bail for these terrorists don't need to be on the bench. Why? Because they are doing the same thing Trump would do. They need to be removed off the bench. So, what's his name again? I forgot the man's name. Richard Barnett. You 60 years old. You should have known better. Now that you've been held accountable, deal with it. You did the crime. It was all fun and game while you was posing for pictures. You had no problem with it. But that judge is doing the right thing, holding you accountable. Nobody should have been let out on bail for any of that. Matter of fact, if there was a BLM protest, it never would have happened. National Guard, state troopers, all of them would have been lined up on the Capitol stairs, just like they were before. Now, Richard Barnett, I'll give you a word of advice. You might want to speak up. Tell what you know. Be the first one. Tell who's actually behind all of this. You just might get out. Until then, don't drop the soap. Um, the radio says surprise when Lynn is still hanging in there. She think he might win in 2024. But as soon as he go to jail, it's a wrap. Get the fence saying it's not fair. He should go to law school. Well, the thing is,
He
it's
has
not.
plenty of time to study law when he's in jail.
Got a point. He had plenty of time. Because the thing is, I'm glad you're there. Everyone that's a part of that should be in jail. Bottom line, if I did it, well, guess what? I should be in jail.
If anybody with brown skin, you'd be lucky to go to jail if they didn't shoot you full of holes for
Exactly.
being a terrorist and doing a terroristic act. But the fact that they don't have domestic terrorism in their name, they just what is it, trespassed on government property.
BS. BS. That wasn't just trespassing. That was a terrorist act. Weedy Jean Wright said we must remember to thank Chomp for taking the hood off all these undercover racists. He made it popular to be transparent and openly racist and open terrorist.
That's probably what he meant. Make America great again. Just be out and proud racist, like back in
Well,
the old times.
my question is that about that? When was America ever great for black folks?
You know they don't include us in that equation. Like even if you look at fantasy films, ain't no black people in their fantasies. In
Okay.
the future, we ain't even in the narrative in any of these
When
things.
when was American great for Native Americans?
Before the colonizers, so I'm told. Like you think think about everywhere in the all the places in the world, like Africa, booming. They had kings and great, cities and stuff like that. Colonizers come now. They don't have access to their resources. They're starving. There's this. It's like their whole empire just collapsed. You go to like it's just ridiculous. You come here, Native Americans they cultivated the land, taught them how to do their hygiene and all this stuff and how to survive. They eradicated it like a swarm of locusts. It's like so. Maybe they were great in England. I don't know because I mean they're doing well there.
Hey, I'm just saying.
But
When
is the few that broke off that caused the most problems.
I was talking,
They got them throwing rocks at each other.
I was talking with someone today, and we was talking about the situation down at the border. Um, hey, what's going on, Satika from Germany? Welcome
Guten
to the
Tag.
show. Um, welcome to the show. You are
That's all I
listening.
know in German.
You are listening to Speak on it with Who You With, Kurt Dog. Actually
Ich trinke
listening on
Wasser,
Deep Live.
so I know food.
Well, I'm glad you tuned in. Definitely like, share, tell a friend, and you're always welcome on the show. Um, Radio said people think TV shows like Leave It to Beaver is accurate. It's a
And again, no
what the
black
past
folks
was
on
like.
that show.
Not one, not
Not
one.
one. That we're
And
not in
then
the past and we're not in the future, except for Star Trek and like Star Wars. But think of all those fantasy films that are out there. Like they may have some purple people on there, but ain't no black folks in the future. You don't
so
see it.
so think about this with Leave It to Beaver. I think that one of the best things they showed in there that was probably pretty accurate. Whenever they took a bath, they sat on the side of the tub and never got in. They just waved their hand in the water like they taking a bath. I think that's the reason why we're dealing with some issues now with this pandemic because people don't want to wash their hands. That's my
Well,
opinion.
just think about the flu. They talking about no one's had the flu this year or this past year. Trailed off at the end of the year. Like it's just disappeared. That just goes to show that there was a lot of nasty people walking around, not washing their hands, putting their fingers all in their mouth, touching everything. It's like they're nasty. Like,
Exactly.
and now they got this. They're finna circulate the COVID in a mutated form next week because of the Abbott Hot Wheels uh, is telling people, oh, you don't need to wear the mask anymore. So they're gonna be relaxed, going to bars. And what do you do at bars? You drink, and they get a little cozy and comfy, breathing hot air on each other's face, yelling at each other's faces, and we're gonna have another round of COVID. And we're already
Exactly.
capacity in the hospitals like that. When it that go down, it hasn't. But somebody, I forgot who said it. Somebody said they that the morgues had room. I forgot who posted that. Let me see. Hold on. And I was like, that's not a good sales pitch. The morgues are free. Wear your mask.
Exactly. Here in Texas, trying to see when did this update. Um, well, in the U.S., we had 520,000 deaths in the U.S. Now, last night, I think I reported 518,000. So we had over 2,000 more deaths added to last night total. Um, in Texas, we had 274 deaths. 2.68 million cases, had another 7,593 cases yesterday. In Texas, I'm talking about just Texas. That's more than any other state from what I'm looking at. California had 4,403, Florida 6,014, New York 6,564, Illinois 2,100. Now, as for deaths, California did beat us in death by 292 cases. And here it is. California is also, I talked with a friend a couple of weeks ago. They reached out to me after my mother passed, and um, they've been waiting. I think his uncle funeral is supposed to be at the end of the month. He's in California. Took him 3 months to get a funeral set. So Greg Abbott, we need to make sure we vote him out next year. This is all a political stunt that he's doing. He's trying to cover up what happened with the power grid last month. And he's also trying to get some followers to vote for him next year. But people need to really think about this and open their eyes. Weedy Green Jean said Trump was our punishment for 8 years of Barack Obama. Watch what happened after Kamala Harris. Like I said, if Kamala Harris and President Biden do what's right, she could very well be our first Black female president. But they have to do what's right these first 4 years. Radio said Texas has twice as many COVID deaths as all of Canada. So that's a lot of death. Weedy Jean said, and the governor of Texas has called a genocide upon all of us. He knows that our people are not lining up for the vaccine. He's trying to win over votes. He won't vote people because I don't know if y'all are part of it, but on Next Door, I've been seeing a lot of message coming up about this mask mandate, the lifting of it. And my whole thing is they put me message out here, and I could tell which one of my neighbors are the racist ones, uh, because of their comments. Then somebody gonna put a message out today to say, if you're being trolled by someone about your comments, DM the leader of next door in our area. But my whole thing is, like I told them years ago, I didn't come on here to deal with politics. I remember this guy used to come on there and talk about uh, former First Lady Michelle Obama, and I wrote back. I said, look, first of all, don't disrespect our First Lady. Secondly, I could tell you're a racist. And I said some other things I don't want to repeat on the air, but when I got finished saying what I had to say, and he seen how many people liked my comment, he deleted the post. If you believe in what you're saying, why hide? That's just like anybody else. Why hide behind a computer or a phone pad? If you believe in it, believe in it. If not, don't put it up. So,
Well,
but yeah,
we need to do like Australia, because they will shut down in a minute. Because I think they actually shut down like the U.S. Open. They're like, oh, somebody has COVID. Everybody on lockdown. You gotta be home by this time. And they were in their homes in quarantine for like I want to say 10 days. Then they open it back up. Because they want to make sure people aren't exposed to anything. And it's like they really don't have as many outbreaks as we do. I'm looking at their total cases. Australia has currently has 29,000 people with COVID, um, which isn't a lot. Like whatever they're doing, they need to share with us. And they've given out 50,000 doses of the vaccine. Only 909 deaths that they've had. But yeah, that's about it. Like whatever they're doing, we need to do it. Like
well,
we should have done it initially. Done a hard like everybody in quarantine. Nobody does anything. Get your essentials. Keep it moving. 9, 10 days, and then see how everything is, and then open up once you get your cases. All right, you got to shut down again instead of no, we're going to open up 75%. Oh, now we're going to go 100%. And guess what? Now you don't have to wear your mask. And the vaccine's not even out. Like it just barely came out, and not everybody's getting the vaccine, which really doesn't prevent anything. It just keeps you from getting sicker, like the flu. You can get the flu shot and still get the flu. So people are going to get the shot, and they're still going to be exposing people, and then they're going to get exposed. Like we're never going to get rid of this.
um, da, 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 da. So from radio actually as how many people live in the city of Dallas? Um,
Too many because Californians keep coming over.
yeah, from what I can see, just in the city of Dallas, um, they're saying it's about 1.3 million, which it have increased. Now, for the DFW Metroplex, that's all the surrounding city of Dallas and Fort Worth, there's about I'm gonna say right at 6.4. It's 6.397 million. So it's a lot of people here. And the way that they playing these political games with the vaccination, I think is a pretty jacked up. And that's because Greg Abbott don't like our county commissioner Clay Jenkins, and he go back and forth. He do things to piss Clay off. I wish Clay or Beto would run for governor next year. Either one of them, they have my vote. Now, out of all the states in America, Texas is going to become the 15th to raise up their mandate for the mask. Now, Oklahoma never had a mandate. Now, just imagine how many people from Texas traveling to Oklahoma to the casino. Now, I've been told the casinos require for you to wear a mask, but the state of Oklahoma don't. So, um, so that's where we are today. I just feel that we need to do what we have to do to protect ourselves, protect our families, and go from there.
And then, like, also with the mask, like, think about Asia. Like, you always see them in airports, just everywhere wearing a mask anyway. Like, before this even came out, they were wearing masks and gloves. Like, they knew something. And I'm like, if they can live, and it's like a bajillion people in that country, and they're not complaining, they're not rioting, they're not talking about, but my rights. Like, wear a mask. If you do, you do. You don't, you don't. But like, I'm gonna wear mine. I'm just gonna put. It's gonna be just a way of life for me. I don't care. Yeah,
Now,
cooties.
now what Weedy Jean is saying, the Blues Palace have already announced a reopening. Super spreader alert. If that is the case, if you don't know what the Blues Palace is here in Dallas, it's show elbow to elbow on a regular night. Talking about, there's no way you cannot bump into somebody at the Blues Palace, especially when those hands get up on stage. It's so packed up in there. And if they're talking about reopening, we may need to call RL and tell them don't do it. That won't be
Is it like the Addison Improv or those
no
improv?
no 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 no
Or is
no.
it tighter?
It's down on Second Street.
Well,
Uh,
no, I mean like just how they're packed in.
I haven't been to Addison Improv in years, but
It's like they're
uh,
elbow to elbow, and there's not a lot of space, and
well, let's
they're doing full on shows.
let's do this. Best way to describe it: you ever been to a hole in the wall? One way in, one way out. That's the
I
Blues.
value my life too much.
Now, I'm not gonna lie. It was back in the days. It's some good entertainment. Cause JT used to play there all the time. RL, who is the owner, would sing. They used to come on regular TV at night, on Saturday nights and broadcast. But that would not be a good cause. That would not be good. And as for myself, I would not support a business that would open up full 100% and without no restriction. It just don't make sense.
Yeah, I'm looking at pictures. I don't know what date this is.
That's how it, and is that the Blues Palace?
Yeah,
Okay,
at those pictures.
that had to been a slow night. Because on a fun night, on a busy night, the way they set it up, you're shoulder to shoulder. You guaranteed to be rubbing up against somebody.
And then they got like cafeteria style like tables, like the
Yeah,
row of
yeah,
tables
exactly.
and people.
That look almost, see, that's a flow night. It's too much space in there on that picture.
But we also don't know what day this is too. So
Well,
it could
I'm
be.
thinking they only open on the weekend.
Oh, okay.
I've only been in there on a Saturday night when those hands get up there and on the stage and dance. Where my hands at? But no, but hopefully that's not
Well,
true.
here's another one. This is a Facebook,
Exactly. That's normally how it is.
but that's 2014. That's the last time that was taken.
I think it been maybe 2.5, it may be 3 years since I've been there, because my sister went for her birthday a couple of years ago. So we went there to celebrate her birthday, but it's
You
not
said
good.
you found the video. Them
Oh,
doggone hens.
no doggone,
Don't know what that means, but
no hands, no hands get up on that stage. It's about to go
like
down.
women,
That's a
is that
hen.
what they call women,
No,
hens?
no, no rooster, call them out.
Oh Lord,
No, but
now we're
I,
fowls.
and I understand. Now, don't get me wrong. I do understand that entertainers have taken a big hit. I truly understand that. But going just because Greg Abbott decided to open everything up doesn't mean it's right. We have to be smarter than that. And because he knows people are going to do it, all to make a dollar.
But I need to, like, my boss and I were talking about how are they going to do businesses? Like, are we expected to bring people back to work? Because she was like, I can already tell you, these people ain't coming in the office. Like, I told my boss, I'm still going to do part time because not everybody's getting the vaccine. Not everybody is, being careless. But it's like you don't know what people are doing. Like we couldn't even control the COVID cases in the production line because they were, shoulder to shoulder on the production line, passing it to each other. And we're talking about like 30 to 60 people, depending on what side you're on.
Well, the
And
thing,
what's going to happen if like you bring people back and they get it, and now you have a whole department gone?
well, the thing is, that's why early in COVID, you had certain companies to uh, sign waivers where
Because
they would not be sued if you got COVID. Now,
that'll never happen in our company. We got too many Californians. They sue for anything. I'm
now,
0.56 hours short. I'm going to my union. Like, girl,
now,
I'm gonna give you $5.
now, the thing is, as for how the business is going to do it, it actually been what a lot of people didn't listen to with Greg news conference, political conference. Um, what he said was from the beginning. When I heard he was doing a big announcement, I already knew what he was going to do. He did it last year, start opening things back up during spring break because probably he got some friends that have kids that want to go to spring break, can't go, long as it's a mandate. So allegedly. But the thing is, I already knew what he was going to do. And the thing is, he made that announcement saying that I'm gonna take this mandate off. We're gonna open Texas up 100%. Then on down the line, he'll say, but it's up to the business if they want to enforce a mask. And see, by that time, most people stopped listening.
You're right.
They stopped listening. They said, oh, they're gonna take the mandate off. I don't have to wear a mask no more. So now
We're gonna
it
have more
comes
people complaining. Well, like we are. I mean, people are already complaining.
exactly.
We're gonna have more. Well, the governor said. Well,
I
this
heard
is my business. Bye.
I heard somebody put on that store the other day telling my, oh, I'm so glad they taking this mask mandate off. I got to ask one. I started to say, you look like you smoke cigarettes too.
Listen, all the stuff in the air is the mask is filtering all the pollutants from your face. Like, chill out.
Exactly.
Like,
That's
I
kind
get
of
allergy injections Like, I can survive a mask.
That's kind of like my yard man came today, and I went out to move the car. And when I moved the car, that grass flying around, man, my eyes got the getting watery. I started sneezing. I'm like, Lord, let me get back inside. Because I went out just as he was blowing all the grass out the yard. And I'm like, ooh, I made a mistake on that. And I had my mask on. So that's how bad it was. And I said, can't do that. Radio said I haven't done a gig in years. Hey, I know friends that is in the entertainment business that have been a struggle for them. But we all got to work to get out of this together. I think what Greg Abbott is doing is going to set us back by months, maybe even years.
Yeah, it's going to be the end of the year because, yeah, people are getting the vaccine, but it doesn't mean you're immune to getting
Exactly.
COVID again. That's where people are getting confused. Like, it'll keep you from getting maybe like deathly ill, but it's a virus. It mutates. Things happen.
Exactly.
You got to stay ahead of trends, and people are going to get careless. And then we got spring break coming up. It's going to be a nightmare.
He did it last year, right before spring
Right.
break.
And
He
everybody in
relaxed
Florida got contaminated, like the whole,
all,
and then they came over here.
all those little Karen and little Steves went to Florida.
Little Trevor,
Look, then they all got the virus and wonder how did they get it.
right? Look like sardines and contaminated pool water.
But he's not addressing the fact that Teddy and uh Candy allegedly gangster Paxton went to Utah and Teddy went to Cancun. He's not talking about that. So I'm telling you, this is a distraction of what he's trying to do from the grid, from Ted Cruz, from Ken Patson. He's trying to distract us from this, and he's trying to win votes for next year. That's why Texas need to show up just like Georgia did in January.
Yeah, there needs to be a rude awakening.
Exactly. We need to paint it back. And don't just worry about the governor race, the lieutenant governor, the attorney general. The Board of Education is on this ballot next year also. Why they don't want to teach the real history of America in school? Need to get them out. Let's make sure it's taught. Our kids need to know the history of America, the true history, because if they don't teach it, and if we don't teach it to our kids, it's gonna die off and people will forget about it. So, but Miss Risky, I
Mm-hmm.
know we went over. I can see. I thought I seen your eyes laying down by your cheeks
I did
while
a Biden.
the cat nap.
I was just resting my eyes.
All right, well, let the people know where they can find you at.
I'm everywhere online. Hang out on Instagram, RSKEE. Have a website where you can check out my books, riskybooks.com. But yeah, pretty much Instagram. I'm there. Look me up.
We need to do a show talking about your books one night. Just, I keep telling you, you need to do your own show.
No, not
Okay,
yet.
okay, yeah.
Like hopefully in a few months, hopefully something may happen. Then I have something to talk about, and then I'll be like, hey.
Okay. Well, I could be fine on. I'm not gonna even lie. I haven't been on social media that much. Um, because when I read some of the tributes that people are leaving about my mother, it kind of get me down. So I haven't been on there much. I come on there every once in a while, but I don't stay on it long. But I'm working through it, and I know pretty soon I'll be back in full stride and trying to get through it. But as for my family, um, I thank God for them because if y'all can hear some of the conversation that we have, it will amaze y'all. Um, how our family have come together and support each other. We're coming up with ideas to do together as a family, uh, to do some positive things. So hopefully we'll be able to share some of those things with some people. And if I'm gonna throw this out here, because every night at 7 o'clock, we do have our family calls. We also led by prayer. Uh, if anybody that is struggling with some things and need prayer, reach out to me. Reach out to me. Best way of doing it, Messenger or Instagram. Um, do not put it on my page because I probably won't see it, but definitely reach out to me. And because one thing about it, we we are a praying family. Um, I thank God for my church members that have reached out to me. That even Pastor Haynes reached out, and when I talked to him, he's like, "Man, how you doing?" And I'm talking to him, and I'm like, "Doc, I'm doing good." And he was like, he was like, "Man, you doing good?" And I'm asking, "How you feeling?" He's like, "I'm doing good, but I'm calling to check up on you." So I'm good, and I appreciate that because. And I told him, I said, "Man, I appreciate your leadership. Not only what you're doing for my family and I, reaching out to me, but what you're doing for the community." And he was like, "Man, I appreciate it, but I'm calling to check up on you." I'm like, "Doc, I'm good. I know my mother is in a much better place. She's not suffering no more. She's not in any more pain. So I know she's doing good. Um, but if somebody's out there that need prayer, reach out to me. Reach out to me. We'll put you on the prayer list, and reach out to me. That's all I can say. Other than that, thank you all for watching. I will be back on Sunday, 8 p.m. Central Time. Um, so until then, y'all have a great weekend. I love each and every one of you. Until Sunday, peace.